As the NFL regular season draws ever closer, the Detroit Lions still carry a question mark that could be crucial to their 2025 ambitions. The pass rush. Za'Darius Smith's departure in the offseason weakened the area, and while Aiden Hutchinson is the cornerstone of the defense, the other end remains a mystery. Marcus Davenport was the chosen starter, but his injury history and lack of consistency call into question the Lions' ability to maintain pressure on opposing quarterbacks in decisive games. For a team with big dreams and already made it clear that the Super Bowl is their goal, relying solely on Hutchinson could be too risky. That's why rumors have surfaced that could shake up the team's defensive landscape. The possibility of a trade with the New York Giants to bring Kayvon Thibodeaux to Detroit. We'll keep you updated with all this information. Please like the video to support this Detroit Lions news channel. Thank you very much for the like. We're continually growing this fan community. Join us by subscribing now. It will be crucial for the channel's continued growth. According to SB Nation's James Dater, the Lions could trade tackle Dan Skipper, a backup beloved by the team and fans, along with a 2027 third-round draft pick, since the 2026 pick isn't available, in exchange for the young and explosive pass rusher. At first glance, it may seem unlikely that head coach Brian Daboll and general manager Joe Schoen would part with one of their best defenders, but data argues that there are loopholes that make such a trade possible. With the arrival of Abdul Carter via the draft and the presence of Brian Burns, New York's edge rushing rotation could be saturated. Furthermore, Burns and Thibodeaux have very similar characteristics, leaving questions about how they would complement each other on the field. In this scenario, veteran Dan Skipper could be an immediate solution for the Giants' offensive line, which has been a chronic problem and has weakened the team's offense for years. It's worth remembering that Thibodeaux, a first-round pick in 2022, still has a lot of room for improvement and has already shown flashes of brilliance. In 3 seasons, he has 127 tackles, 21 sacks, 46 QB hits, and 26 tackles for loss. His best year was 2023, when he recorded 11.5 sacks, but even in 2024, despite missing 5 games, he managed 5.5 sacks, a number that would have placed him second on the Lions team that season, behind only Hutchinson, 7.5. Compared to Davenport, who in his last healthy campaign in 2022 recorded just 0.5 sacks, the difference in impact is stark. If healthy and integrated into a system that has already gotten the most out of Hutchinson, Thibodeaux could revitalize his career in Detroit and transform the defense into a truly elite NFL force. Of course, for the Lions, the decision isn't just about athletic performance. There's also a financial factor. Thibodeaux is under contract through 2026, but he'll almost certainly seek an extension next year, meaning Detroit would need to be willing to allocate a significant portion of the salary cap to 2 edge rushers, Hutchinson and Thibodeaux. Still, this is a dilemma for the future. The present demands full focus on 2025, and General Manager Brad Holmes has already demonstrated he's not afraid of bold moves when the goal is to transform the Lions into serious title contenders. If the plan is truly to win now, this trade makes perfect sense. Now the big question is, should the Lions pay this price to bring in Kayvon Thibodeaux? Losing Dan Skipper, a beloved locker room player, and giving up a draft pick may hurt in the short term. But in return, Detroit would get an immediate reinforcement capable of increasing its chances of reaching the Super Bowl. The decision is divided, but one thing is certain. If the Lions want to cement themselves as the new NFC powerhouse, they can't afford to enter 2025 with doubts on defense. We want to hear your opinion. Would you make this trade if you were the Lions' general manager? Is Thibodeaux the missing piece to transform this defense into a fortress and put the team on the path to the Super Bowl? Leave your answer here in the comments. Don't forget to like the channel to strengthen it. And let's follow closely every step of the Lions' journey to 2025. As the countdown to the NFL regular season draws to a close, one name is starting to stir even more behind the scenes: Trey Hendrickson. The Cincinnati Bengals pass rusher, the 2024 sack leader, is at the center of trade rumors, and naturally, the Detroit Lions are emerging as one of the teams that could be interested in the player. But the big question lingering is, what would the Lions have to give up to actually make this speculation a reality? According to Diana Rossini and Paul Denner Jr. of The Athletic, the Bengals have been in talks about Hendrickson's future for weeks, and the request is far from simple. Cincinnati isn't just after draft picks, but also wants defensive players ready to make an immediate impact. Insider Jordan Schultz reinforces that the Bengals are seeking a robust package, including 1 or 2 key players plus draft capital, and cites other teams interested in the deal, such as the Cleveland Browns, Carolina Panthers, and Indianapolis Colts. However, when we look at the Detroit Lions situation, the picture is much more complex. Despite having a roster brimming with young and explosive talent, the question remains whether the front office would be willing to sacrifice depth at any key position to bring in Hendrickson. This is because it's not just the trade itself that matters, but also the contract the player would demand. At 31 in December, the pass rusher is expected to seek a multi-million-dollar extension, which could easily exceed $30 million annually. And while the Lions are currently able to absorb this salary in 2025, with over $47 million in cap space, the medium-term future isn't as promising. By 2026, the team already projects being $43 million over the cap, and starting in 2027, although the situation improves again, there will be hefty extensions knocking on the door, such as those for Aiden Hutchinson, Jameson Williams, Brian Branch, and Jahmyr Gibbs. And it's precisely this point that makes everything even more delicate. If Hendrickson were to land in Detroit, the team would have 2 star edge rushers, draining a significant portion of the salary cap, something that would inevitably put pressure on the rest of the roster. It's no surprise that, despite the clear need to bolster the defensive line, the Lions have shown signs that they may move in a different direction. The possibility of retaining Zadarius Smith with a more affordable extension is real, and this would avoid greater risks in the future. After all, there's no point in getting excited about a big acquisition now and end up compromising the team's financial health when the key young players on the roster need to be rewarded. So, while the idea of seeing Trey Hendrickson in the blue and silver is exciting for fans, all signs point to Brad Holmes remaining cautious. The Lions' general manager has been recognized for his patience and long-term vision, and he's unlikely to compromise that philosophy in exchange for a move that, while impactful, could be incredibly costly in several ways. The fans' desire is understandable, and the temptation to add a 4-time Pro Bowler is enormous. But the reality is that the obstacles are numerous, from the Bengals' high asking price to the financial implications for the future. And ultimately, perhaps the smartest path is to maintain the solid foundation already built and seek reinforcements that won't threaten the balance of the project. And now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Lions should go all out in trying to trade for Trey Hendrickson, even at the risk of compromising the future of the roster and salary cap space? In my opinion, as tempting as it may be to have a pass rusher of this caliber alongside Hutchinson, the cost of the trade and the value of a contract worth over $30 million per year could weigh heavily in the medium and long term. Perhaps it's smarter to focus on maintaining a balanced roster and seeking less risky solutions. But I want to hear your thoughts. Leave your opinion in the comments, because the debate around this type of move is always heated. And of course, if you enjoy this type of content and want to continue following all the updates on the Lions, please like the video to strengthen the channel. See you next time.